Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. So, we have a reading for today, and this one is one that really needs to be said in so many ways. When you look at the last several videos that we've done, and I recognize that there's going to be people in our EEA family, especially the ones that are over on EEARTS, they're going to look at those videos and, you want to take a shower. You just want to cleanse yourself. You want to step out of this reality a little, because to say the least, they're disconcerting subjects. The reality that this world has been controlled by dark forces, and we have been in the Kali Yuga, which is the dark age. And darkness in the sense, many senses. One of them is lack of understanding, lack of knowledge about who we really are and what we really can be and what the world can't be. That's one of the darkness, is lack of understanding, and also the fact that the energies and powers that have ruled us are, to say the least, not very benevolent. They don't seem to have any care at all for the planet itself, for all the creatures on the planet, including human life, as well as also animals, fish, birds, plants, you name it. There is such a apparent sense of disdain with those at the top of the food chain in this world, and this is the reality that we have had. One of survival of the fittest, dog eat dog, manipulation, deception, and lies. The beauty is that all that is crumbling. We are in the apocalypse, and that this is the big unveiling. And so there's still unveiling to do because the masses still don't understand the bigger picture. They don't recognize that they are in the matrix, and this matrix has conditioned us to behave and respond in certain predictable manners. And so this program response is just autonomous in most people. It's just automatic, and they're in this paradigm, this left-right paradigm that just leads to nonstop wars, suffering, and ultimately, death and destruction of all the life forms on this planet. And the grateful thing is that, this is a time of change. As we see the Ten of Wands, we see, our burden is heavy, especially those of us that are awake and that are fighting to illuminate others as to the symptoms and system that we are in. The symptom of lack of understanding, lack of true knowledge, and how we have been manipulated through our politics and through our religions as well, always setting one against the other, just like the Tower of Babel, as I said a million times. When we have to get more and more people to wake up, and they are awakening up in droves. And we see we have progress on the path. And this card's come up more than once as well. That path can be slow and painful at times. And as we saw with the Ten of Wands, it can be like, the more we take on, the more we're going to be asked to take on. And so it's a heavy burden. Truly, it is like each of us carrying our own cross, for lack of a better term. And we see over here the dark mysteries. And, we are uncovering a lot of mysteries. And we are also uncovering a lot of darkness. And each of us has our own personal darkness to face, our own personal, fears, and maybe areas where we lack understanding. But we're also learning and growing, and we're recognizing that, this world is perfect in its imperfection in so many ways, and perfect in its imperfection in the sense that when we do have this type of duality, it affords us a chance, an opportunity for amazing growth. And that is one of the things that we can experience in this reality. And as we see over here with the Two of Fire, you've come into your own new partnerships, contracts, continue to move forward. We are coming together, and those of us that are awake are coming into new family, new friendships, new bonds as we move forward. And some, are going to have to be completely severed because there are some that you're just not going to be able to move forward with. And the Four of Swords is denoting a time of contemplation, withdrawal, going within, stilling the mind, finding clarity, and finding our focus, which is so important. Eight of Keys, the Master Artisan. It's all about creation. We are in an unusual place right now. And, I recognize, and this is part of my original thought, that there are those that just they don't want to know the darkness that's been around us, and that's beautiful because they don't want to be exposed to anything that's going to lower them, anything that's going to cause fear, anything that's going to cause concern. Like realizing for the first time that wow, 5G might be harmful. That wow, the skies really are being sprayed. Holy crap. That type of thing to the masses can be shocking and can just break their paradigm. How about, realizing, wow, I have been manipulated because of my political mindset. Wow, I have been manipulated because of my religious mindset. It's a world in which we have been put into boxes and labels. And it's up to us to take those labels and boxes and discard them. And that can be very painful, but it does lead to true understanding, as we see the eye of Ganesh. The eye is the window to the soul. It's the seat of true understanding, especially when thine eye be single and you're looking through the third eye and you're seeing things for what they really are. And that leads to the big picture thinking, which we see over here, which is Pleiadian energy, visionary, inspired ideas. And that comes from when we allow ourselves time to go within, as we see the Four of Swords. So it's time for new thinking. It's time for new ways. And, we still have a lot of tearing down to do. Tearing down of walls, tearing down of power structures. We recognize that those dark forces are still in power. So we have to basically shed the light on the darkness and thus illuminate the minds of the masses, because the masses must realize what is really going on. And they can't step out from this matrix until they are awake. And we have to get to the point where the majority of the world is awake. And then, thus awakened, real change can happen. And that will lead to perfection in the sense of getting rid of this old system and allowing ourselves the time and the thoughts and the inspirations to bring about real change into a new system, because it's going to take brilliant minds. I don't know what the new system's going to look like, but I could say what it's not. It might be easier to think in those terms. Maybe we should look and say, okay, we've done things this way, and what is bad about the way that things have been done, and then say, okay, we're not going to do these things again. And whatever that is, point out the things that don't work, point out the things that have led to separation, and then let's, sort through things that don't lead down those same paths as we're putting together a new opportunity with a new system. Because that's what this is all about. As we see Jagannath here, which this is the Lord of the universe. Now, coming from the Western mindset, a lot of these things wouldn't make sense to you, looking at things from a Hindu perspective or a Buddhist perspective or a Jain or Shinto perspective, a Sikh perspective. The mindset is very, very different in so many ways. So in Hinduism, they realize that life lives within life. And so we are actually living in the body of a being. And so we could look at it in many different ways, and that being is living within the body of another being, and which is all living within the universal mind of God, as we could visualize that. But what this is talking about is worldly power, devotion to Krishna. Krishna is like Christ, and that, Krishna is the love center, it's the heart center, it's, the heart chakra, and it's an incarnation of Vishnu. Vishnu is the preservative force of the universe, that which preserves life, keeps life going. And so this also is representing freedom from the cycle of birth and death and perfection in the arts and service of God. So in Hinduism, there's many, many gods, but there's only one source. And there is only one true source, which is something that lives within every single being. And that's basically the same in many other philosophies. And also in Western mystery tradition, we see it as well. Ultimately, source lies within all of us, so it's up to us to tap into that which preserves life and not destroys life. Tap into that force that sees unity and sees it coming together. Then we can really, really, truly change things. And as we see with the other cards like Rejoice in Celebration, then we can rejoice in celebration because we are creating something new. And the goddess Maya and ruby aura quartz. Well, Maya's illusion, and this world has been operating on illusion. Things are not as they appear to see. And so we have many forces saying that they are benevolent forces, masking themselves in benevolent terms, but they're very malevolent. And they are not pro-life. They are pro-death and destruction and feeding off the negativity. And again, this is the time of the apocalypse, so that is all being unveiled. We are seeing it for what it is. We know really how our leadership has been. We see, leadership in a religious light as well, being exactly the opposite of what it should be. And so, this is all breaking down, and that's this time that we're in. So we're in this time of both exposing the darkness and embracing the light, destroying the system, and looking to build something new. It's two dynamics going on at the same time. And so if you're looking at the Hindu, perspective, again, you could say this is the time of Shiva as Nataraj, which is the force that is the more destructive force. And so, this is basically representing the tearing down of the old so that the new can be reborn. And that's exactly what's ongoing right now. So as distasteful as it is to talk about the subjects we've been talking about, everything from wars to the true situation at the Vatican and the true situation with the political structure, the fact that all the presidents have, all but one, are all related, and that there is this elitist group that has run everything actually for thousands of years. And they don't have our best interest in mind, and they have us in a system that is very, very limiting of spiritual growth and understanding on purpose. And that is so they maintain their power structure. But all that is being exposed, and we still have to expose it as we work within so that we will not go down that dark path yet again that leads to destruction, but rather that we will build something beautiful that will be done in a sense of unity and understanding. So we have to get past the division, past the strife, and we have to remove the obstacles as we look at Ganesha over there. And the obstacles are being removed to our understanding as we're understanding the true symbolism that is there right in front of our faces and who exactly the true puppet masters are in this world. So we must get in contact with all the strength we can muster in this battle, because this is most definitely a battle. And I'm getting a lot of emails from a lot of you out there that are recognizing that you're in a battle. People that have been harassed, perhaps even, experiencing a little MK Ultra action in their own lives, to say the least. And there's a lot of things going on right now. So we have to realize we are most definitely in a spiritual war. And if we don't recognize that, then we might be caught off guard. So we must keep our defenses up while we keep our hopes up, as we keep uncovering all the darkness and exposing it for what it is, while embracing the light that lies within all of us and cultivating that. And most definitely, as we see that Ten of Wands, that could be a high workload, a big, heavy burden, but it's one that we came here to take and one that we came here to do. And again, we have to think about the big picture. And as we move out of this age of darkness and into the light, we must keep that in mind, that we're building something better for the future generations. So my friends, as always, thanks for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. You keep us going in this time of censorship. And as we witness the end of the age of darkness and the beginning of a dawning of a new time period, make sure that we are always focused on the love and the light, but don't lose track of the fact that the darkness is still there and is ready, willing, and able to lash out at us at any time. So we always keep that in mind and stay as prepared as possible. God bless and namaste.